Hello, welcome to Nintendo Nostalgia. I'm your host, Jacob Rush, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Black. And we are back, and we are playing with Power. Ryan, welcome back. How are you doing, buddy? It's been a few weeks since the Direct, since we last have been able to talk like this. How's life? What's new with you, buddy?
Pretty good. I've got a month away from Gen Con, and I'm going to be volunteering, running games, demoing games for people at the big convention. So looking forward to that. Just getting hyped with all of that going, and then I've got an appointment on the 2nd of July to see someone about my hips, and I'm going to be getting hip surgery. That old, got to get those hips replaced now. I'll be doing one hip at a time. But I've got some bad hip impingement, some bumps or nodules on my bones that have been causing havoc on my muscles and stuff, and the tissues in there. I got some tears and stuff they have to go in and repair. So both sides. It's just something I was born with. I never understood why I had all these issues with posture and just how I walked a little bit differently, and my back was always hurting, and just in general, I'd have some trouble I thought was sciatica and all these different other issues, and it just turns out the wear and tear that I've been having on my body is just because of when I was born, my bones were formed a certain way and had bumps and stuff on them that I just never got it looked into. I just always assumed my knee problems are because I'm a redhead, but yeah, a lot of that points to the hip impingement that I've had, so I'm gonna get that stuff corrected and hopefully, do all the therapy and stuff and get back to, I guess what's the new normal?
Right.
Normal for most.
Wow, I'm sorry you have to do that, buddy. That sucks. That's never fun, but hopefully at the end of the day, you feel like a new man when it's all said and done, right?
Hope so. I can get back to that DDR.
Oh yeah, you come out of retirement. Life's about the same for me. I finished up summer school. It feels crazy. It's the easiest. I feel like I stole money. I just, opened up tests for students and sat there, and it was pretty awesome, honestly. So, and it gave me something to do. I actually get the next month off. Until we go back officially August 2nd, which is just, it's in a weird way. I'm not looking forward to it, I guess. I'm not looking forward to the break. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to go back in August. I don't want to just not have anything to do, I don't know. I really am somebody who likes to stay busy.
With that huge backlog you have, sir?
Yeah, being productive, Ryan.
Sea of Stars is crying right now.
I hope Sea of Stars going to pay me to play it, like my school is paying me to sit there. But I definitely will play some games. Which actually is a great way to segue into what we have been radical rexing about. Ryan, why don't you go ahead real quick? You can start us off. Anything new since Nintendo Direct stuff? We've had a couple weeks to let it soak in, and I know me personally, I have more clear thoughts about what I think of everything. Pretty similar to what I said on our episode, but overall, I've allowed that stuff to sink in and cement. Sorry for my kid in the background here. She's excited. But Ryan, why don't you go ahead and talk about maybe some things that are really exciting you as of today?
Well, I woke up this morning at about 4 a.m., frantically searching around for my Switch. It's been missing for a couple days, and you know what? I was just I woke up and I'm gonna find that Switch. And so I eventually found it. It was sitting outside, wrapped up in some cushions on our wicker recliner chair thing. Apparently, I had left it out there a couple days ago, and it got wrapped up in the cushion. I didn't see it, and so I found that, and I opened it up, and first thing I saw on the news was that Star Wars Bounty Hunter is coming to the Switch, and I'm I loved that game. That was a lot of fun. You got to play as Jango Fett, before Episode 2, and just take down a Dark Jedi, capture him, and I think the best part about that game was the fact that, they had, if you entered this code, you could get, blooper reels, and you could, watch like outtakes, like movie outtakes, but they built it into the game. Where like just things that just like they're so silly and dumb, but they give you a good laugh. One was like the bad guy was talking and he realized he had something like in his nose and it was making him sound kind of funny, and he just does this big old sniff. He's like, "There's something in my nose," and it was just like it was just so funny. Like, what the heck? Why is this in a video game? And it's just like that, like the outtakes and bloopers. Like, what's my motivation? Okay, I'm ready. Wait, what am I doing? What's my motivation? Like just like an actor would do, and it was just great outtakes. I think that was my favorite part about it. So knowing that it's coming to the Switch, I'm pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
And then outside of that, gosh, what's been going on in my world other than like nonstop Dragon Quest IX? I've been just doing all the grinding and all the half inching to steal the items I need to make the alchemy recipes, and like just getting all of that completed. Do as much as I can without the DQVC functionality. I may go in eventually and edit the save file to add in the DQVC stuff so I can get those extra quests and get 100% complete for sure. But I've been playing that, and along with that, I've been playing some Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I wrapped up the part of the game where you're in like the spooky woods and I have to like fight ghosts and team up with others to save this village that's getting turned into pigs. And I'm onto the tropical island or island anyway. You have to get to a ship. I was trying to figure out how to get on that ship and get headed south on the map and collect that crystal star. So I've been enjoying that, trying to get that wrapped up so we can do an episode on that. Looking forward to that for sure. And just in general, like I'm excited. Like we got a couple, I think it was last week, we got together, me, Josh, and a couple of his friends, and we played Four Swords on the Game Boy Advance, on the the NSO Game Boy Advance app, and it was really cool to experience that together. We took down Vati and just we had a good time with that. I had to cut out after that. I didn't get to play any of the N64 games that they played after, like Perfect Dark, but it was good just to connect with people. Like initially, it was going to be like me and Jacob and Josh and I think one other, maybe it was Kyle. And people had things come up, and so like we ended up doing it. It was a different crowd than we were expecting, but it was pretty good. And we're talking about doing that a lot more together, just internally, and enjoying some of those games. Just enjoying the ride, experiencing each other's company when we're not able to get together physically as much. So looking forward to all of those hangouts coming up here soon. What about you, man?
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to be a part of that. I was like, I think I can finally do it. And then just I had all the kids. It was my weekend, and just a lot of stuff happened. So I ended up having to bail at the last minute, which sucks. And I don't ever like to do that. But I had to this time.
It happens, man. You get busy. Can't help it.
For sure. Well, I do. What have I been radical rexing about myself? Well, man, where do I start? So we had the Nintendo Direct, and I won't lie, because I got to go to work and just kind of sit there. So I just watched a lot of YouTube. I watched a lot of deep dives, and I watched so much coverage about Metroid. I've watched that Metroid Prime 4 trailer probably 10 million times by now. I mean, and I've seen every kind of breakdown you could say. I found some great theories that people are starting to put together. And these are just theories that they probably are most likely wrong, but there was some, and one that I was really intrigued about. I apologize for my kid in the background.
I can't hear it.
That's good. One theory that I heard and I like actually a lot, and I would think it's really cool. My daughter likes it too, I guess, but I would think it's really cool. Was that the new logo looks like a black hole? Is what people are saying. It's like it resembles what a black hole does, and some people are thinking that there's going to be like dimension time skipping, and that a lot of people are theorizing that planet that we saw is actually our planet from Metroid Prime, the original. Talon. I can't
4?
think of the full name. Talon 4, and that it's in the past, and that it could be a way of Nintendo's like revisiting, trying to recapture the magic of what and wonder of what that planet and that game brought by using this portal device thing. Again, this is all theory. Like, this could be 1,000% wrong. It most likely is. But I was like, honestly, I think that would be really cool. If you're talking from a nostalgic standpoint, Ryan, they think about it though. They did release Prime Remastered, and people are wanting Prime 2 and 3, but maybe there's a reason they haven't released those yet. Maybe they won't release those. Maybe they only wanted us to get refamiliarized with the original game for a reason. Because some people said that, I don't know, there's like structures in that tree. It kind of resembles what the ancient area that the final, where you fight Ridley and stuff, it kind of looks similar to that. Again, who knows? But I think from a nostalgic standpoint, that would be really cool to come back and revisit this planet that we fell in love with, and we're seeing it in a state where maybe it's before Phazon ever touched it, and it's the same as what we saw but different. Because I think there's actually going to be a live civilization on the planet, because there's just proof of structure of, at least there was civilization on it before. Who knows? Again, I'm just theorizing, but it's cool. Still feel the same. I still think we're getting a Switch 2 port of the game in 2025. And I hope that it looks even better.
Did they announce it? They never announced it was coming to Switch.
They know pretty much everyone has confirmed that that's Switch footage that we saw. And it did have the Switch logo at the start of the thing, so it didn't just put.
It's probably going to be dual release. Let's be honest.
I think it's dual release. I think it's just like Breath of the Wild was, or Twilight
and if
Princess.
not dual release, then it's going to have enhanced, upscaling for the new system. Like, even if they don't have to make a separate version, like, it'll get that extra bump.
I think we're hearing it's like that PS4 to PS5 bump, It's not it's not like a full on different game, but it definitely looks better on a PS5 versus a PS4. I'm really excited about that, and I just had a big Metroid itch. Them releasing Zero Mission on the eShop or NOS. I went back and I played it as fast as possible. I did not want 100% everything. I just wanted to rush through the game, and I did that casually over the week. That week after E3, and I beat it. I beat it in like super fast. Just fun. When you've played the games before, you know what they are. So then I've gone back and I'm now re-going through Fusion on the NSO. Casually. I am trying to get the full ending on that one though. So once I've gotten everything before the final fight, I'm going to go back and get all the upgrades and stuff. Yeah. And because I have never 100% of that one, I would like to do that. So I'm trying to do that. But I did beat Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. I did beat it last week as well too. So I've had times to game. I have gamed. And I have taken this week off. I've gamed a lot this week, especially because I took a week off of lifting weights. I haven't taken a full-on rest week in about 10 weeks, since 13, 14 weeks. So I was like, because there is a benefit to that as well, too, when your body is always constantly sore with some kind of muscle soreness. Just resting for a full-on week and relaxing is pretty good. Violet wants a headphone and a microphone. Clearly, she wants to contribute.
Wants to be the star.
But I'm hoping. My son Jack, he loves video games. Who knows how he'll grow with it. I hope one of my girls. I have 3 girls. I hope one of them is a gamer geek like their dad.
Yeah.
Just one. Maybe it's Violet. Maybe Violet will be the one that is taking over Nintendo nostalgia when I am too old to talk all the time. Who knows?
She'll be a fan of the purple GameCube and.
Yeah. You know what's freaking nuts, man? Her nostalgia, her first system. I mean, it's going to be a Switch too. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the Switch is out now, but like the first system to come out since she's alive will be Switch too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fitting because Riley and Charlotte, technically, even though I didn't know her at the time, were there right when Switch got announced and came out. So you remember Riley was with me when I picked up the Switch.
Yeah. Man, what a time that was.
That was so amazing. I really hope the Switch 2 launch is just as magical like that.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. But, so, I mean, and then last thing, gaming-wise, my wife was just a sweetheart, and we've been trying to save money, and we've been cutting costs, and we've been doing a really good job. So she decided to just reward us a little bit by spending some extra money because we had saved so much within the last month or so. And she went out and she bought me Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
And I finally was able to crack that open and start playing it a little bit. And it was just amazing. I love that game. It's hard. I gotta play it in the right time. She's like, why aren't you playing this game nonstop? Because I'm like, the thing with the PS5 games is I know going in, this is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same as like what Zelda was, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and what Prime 4 will be. Going in, this is not I'm going to start this up and okay, we'll just stop here for now, like Zero Mission was or whatever. And Fusion is. This is like I'm all in. This is a cinematic experience that you play through, and it's story, and it's going to be heart tugging, and it's going to get deep. And honestly, sometimes like knowing I have to go into a game like that, it makes me in a way put off wanting to play that game until I feel like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
On some levels.
I mean, if you don't, that's...
On some levels, yeah. It's just...
It's a big journey, and I feel like when I go into a massive game that's going to take me hours and hours and hours to beat, I need to be immersed in the world, and I want to take it in, and I want to have the feels for it, and I want to be able to enjoy it fully. So, like, we had the kids. The day after she got the game, all the kids were back home. I'm like, I'm not diving into this game with a house full of kids.
Right.
No freaking way. My son's going to take the controller from me. They're going to be yelling. They're going to be playing music. They're going to be dancing and screaming. And, like, I won't even be able to hear the dialogue that they're saying in the game.
Yeah.
And to me, I want to experience it.
Yeah.
And right now, like as soon as we're done with this pod, guess what I'm doing? I'm playing the game. I'm turning all the lights off in the house, having that television screen glued to my eyeballs, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So
that's what you should do, man. Enjoy it. Like, get absorbed into it. So I definitely get where you're coming from. For me personally, like if it's a game I've played before, but I know it's long and epic and everything. Like, it's easier to take bite size. But when you're in that first playthrough and you're trying to experience something for the first time, like, you don't want any of those distractions whatsoever.
Yeah. Even with smaller games, like when I first played Metroid Dread, I treated it the same. Even though it's not as grand of a game as like Rebirth is. My first time through, I still like wanted to like be quiet. I wanted to experience the story.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off, and now I could play Dread with lights on, kids screaming because I'm like, okay, I've done this, I've seen this, I know what this is,
But you don't want to ruin that first experience. It'll carry your nostalgia for the game for the life, pretty much. It just you want to be careful with what your environmental like distractions are and your experiences. You want it to be just hit just right.
That's exactly right. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So I guess maybe the last thing I'll Radical Rex about, and then we'll move on. I just realized just how much, you can thank Kyle Martin for forcing me into it, but just how much of an RPG gamer I have become this year. Like, and which is, you'd say blasphemy if you've heard this show, because it's always been my least favorite style of game. And I will say, to an extent, the game has to do it right for me.
It can't be turn-based.
I mean, it can be. Paper Mario is, you know.
I think you'll enjoy
and
Sea
I
of
enjoyed
Stars.
that. Right. Oh, I've already started a file. So, like, you know, like, Undertale is turn-based in a unique way different, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're
Delta
actively
Rune.
doing stuff in the battle scenes. You're not just waiting for someone to take the turn. Like, you're actually dodging and stuff. So.
Right. Delta Rune is full-on, I think, RPG. And then, but like, so here's my RPG list. It started basically at the spill end of last year at Christmas time. Got Mario RPG. Okay. Got Mario RPG. Played that into the new year. Right after I was done with that, I had money for PlayStation Online. Bought Final Fantasy VII Remake. Played that, which I know is not your traditional JRPG. Which, you know, I've gone, and then and while I was playing that, I was going back and revisiting the OG game, which on super fast and super easy mode.
Yeah.
Which I just have to say, like, that I don't enjoy. I don't like walking around and just get stopped so much. And I think I think the RPGs in the 90s did it terribly. You know, like, you would always get stopped.
I think you'd like Dragon Quest IX just because that was the first. As far as if you want to go play Dragon Quest, I think you'd like Dragon Quest IX because that was when they started doing, like, you could see the enemy encounters and you could avoid them. Like, if they didn't catch your eye, like, and chase you down, like, you could avoid them and stuff. And if you got strong enough, like, the enemies would actually run away from you on the overworld.
Right.
Map, so.
Oh, that's cool. Well, like, even in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, you can, for the most part, you can choose at one point if you're going to interact with them or not. You can try to go around them or whatever. And if I'm choosing to go into the battle, it doesn't bother me. It's when I'm being stopped and I'm trying to get to World 6 and I'm constantly being stopped by unknown enemies. That's the crap that bugs me. So our Mario RPG 7 remake, and while dipping my toes in the OG version, and then I think I just took a small break, and then the next time I played like a few small games. Like I revisited Pikmin 4 that I started fall last year, beat that. But then, and I've played like Animal Well and Corn, some just experimental games. But then the next big game was Paper Mario. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, just beat that. And then, okay, she's confirming what I'm saying. And then next is this Rebirth. Then after that, it's going to be later in the year. It's going to be Brothership. I'm excited about Brothership. I'm going to get that game. So a lot of RPG in my days right now. So
yeah, I've got
all right.
My 2024 is packed with RPGs, and I'll get into that later. But definitely looking forward. I was able to get I got a little extra work money that I couldn't spend on like food and stuff. So like I put it towards getting a Nintendo eShop card, and it was enough to get the Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster, and so I'm going to be playing that, truly sitting down and playing through that fully before the end of the year. Looking forward to that, experience it for the first time.
For sure. All right, well, we'll finally stop talking, and we'll get into the main topic. And we haven't done this style of episode in a long while, Ryan, but it is fun, and it's unique, and I think our listeners enjoy stuff like that, instead of always just talking about a nostalgic game. This week, we're focused all back on Nintendo commercials.
this commercial starts out with a traditional Japanese classroom waiting for the clock to strike for them to all get out of school, and the kids all in uniforms start rushing out, and then like as soon as they get out of the school, like they start doing some crazy stuff like flips into the air. They jump up really high and form like parkour events and like running all over. It's like bunches of kids just from all of the different schools just like running, like hordes of them, to all get to this basically Nintendo store to get the latest Nintendo game system. GameCube spoilers. And then, like, when it finally shows all the kids waiting in line, everybody's got Mario heads. And I'm pretty sure we've brought this up in past commercials before, but this is the first time I've brought this one forward. And I just love this idea of, like, as soon as you're out of school, you take on, like, superpowers. Like, you got to get to that, got to get home, got to get to the latest game, like, got to, power up, got to be Mario, got to do the triple jump, ground pound, just become Mario. Who are you? This is what kicked off this "Who Are You" campaign for the GameCube. It's like, who do you become when you get off school and you pick up a game and enjoy Nintendo? Like, what world do you explore? Who do you what persona do you take on? Who is your superpower, your hero? It's really cool, like, messaging. It's just like get in the game.
Yeah, I remember this commercial being on TV, and it's so funny when you see something like it's erased out of your mind, but then you watch, you're like, oh my gosh, I know I've seen this. Like, whatever, we're at home watching Nickelodeon or your Cartoon Network, and then a random Nintendo commercial comes on, and every time a Nintendo, well, I won't say every time, but most times the Nintendo commercials came on, I just was so excited to get a game and play it. And the GameCube era, Ryan, I really can't understand why the GameCube era just did so bad for Nintendo.
It's a shame, a crying shame.
I mean, the genius, I sent you guys a video on our I don't know if you saw it, but it wasn't a video, it was a message. Like it was just like describing just the GameCube logo and how genius of the setup it was.
100%.
Their freaking logo. And I think the Cube box, like it was a genius marketing thing, and I don't understand it. I know Xbox came on the scene, but like the GameCube, like that had extreme games. Like that didn't feel like it was a kid system. I don't get it. And today people look back at it and like, oh, it was so awesome. It was awesome. Why didn't people appreciate it in its time?
And it was cheap too. I think that was part of the problem. It's like, oh man, but we've got Xbox now. Like Xbox is superior.
It's wild how the narratives change within time.
Yeah.
And because Xbox is still, if not that hardcore gaming system, but it's doing the worst on the market now. I guess it's about longevity and changing things up enough. I don't know, but this commercial, it's definitely weird and unique, and then it just happens at the end. Everyone's got a Mario head, and it's Nintendo, and classic Nintendo. I love it. Which if the commercials will be, I'll probably copy and paste the links to these commercials in the show description. So if you guys actually want to go back and watch what we're watching, you can. But you'll be able to hear it because we're talking over it while we are doing this podcast as well, too. But I'll do that. I'll put in the show link as well. All right, next commercial.
Hey, kid, where's my lunch money?
You haven't been flossing. You haven't been flossing.
Get a job.
Escape to a world of color for each and every Game Boy game. New Game Boy Color.
So the commercial ends a little early there, but it basically is this kid at the dentist office, and everything's in black and white, and he's just basically going through everything that kids don't want to go through. Got to go to the dentist. He's being chased and bombarded by adults, and they're saying, hey, you need to grow up. You need to get a job. You need to basically just be a boring adult.
All
and
black
he's
and white and
it's
dreary.
all in black and white and dreary and depressing. And then he backs up against a brick wall, and color starts shooting from underneath the brick wall. And then it breaks open. He falls into this world of like flowers and basically just full on color. And he's playing the Game Boy Color, and it's showing basically giving life to old video games and new, as like we're moving into the future with handheld gaming. And he's just playing games, and this commercial obviously is a late 90s commercial. I definitely remember it. Back then, I did not have cable or satellite television, so I certainly was playing. I was watching, Fox Kids or Kids WB4 back then, and I remember this. I remember this commercial, and I never actually had a Game Boy Color. I had a regular Game Boy. Ended up getting a 64. Became a big home console gamer at that point. Where I still played my Game Boy, but I wanted the home console experience so much more. Mm-hmm. Most likely because we had a family of, there's 5 kids in the house. Dad's a farmer and landscaper, mom's a nurse. So like money was scarce. And, I grew up, I played Game Boy so much in my young days. I think I was ready for the home console experience. So, I think that's kind of why I skipped out on color. But then I did get a Game Boy Advance, which is kind of my first colored system, but not backlit system. So, Ryan, do you remember this commercial?
I actually don't remember this commercial at all. I don't know how I missed it. I was introduced to the Game Boy Color through like magazines and ads in magazines. I definitely didn't see a commercial on this.
Wow. Well, now you have. I certainly do remember it. Again, it's weird. Nintendo's commercials, I don't know, they start off weird half the time. It's not, occasionally, you got Mario or a Pokemon right up front, but, it's just, who knows, man? They always have to, I guess that's what they go for. They go for something weird and like, what is this? It keeps you engaged with, like, what the heck am I watching? And then it's like, oh, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So get a Nintendo. Yeah, very much so. But
awesome.
All right, you're up next.
All right, so this one has a little bit of background I'm going to bring in. So there was a contest back when the DS launched called "Touching is Good." Was the marketing that they had, and they had this limited this contest they had where you could go and order you go and send in mail. I think I want to say it was even website based. You could go in and order a mannequin hand to have it sent to you. And what you had to do with this mannequin hand was you had to record like some kind of video of doing something with the hand, like you're interacting with your world, and turn your world into a video game. Like everything that you do is like touching, is kind of like pulling that whole DS thing. Like you have a contest to win some money to, if you can come up with the best concept of how you can use this mannequin hand to show the genius that is the DS, kind of have their fans do the marketing for them. So this was the grand prize winner commercial that they came up with, and every once in a while I would pop onto that website, see if the Touching is Good website was still live, and up until I think 2 years ago that website was live. You can go and watch all the videos that they had available. But this is one of the bygone era of the person who won, taking their mannequin hand and making it into a gaming experience, taking day-to-day life. And so let's go ahead and get into it.
Hey, I'm going to the store. Need me to get you anything? Have you ever noticed how much life is like a video game? You can reach out and touch everything. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. Great! Don't touch any of my stuff while I'm gone. Ow! What are you doing?
He takes the banana and throws at his roommate. He starts picking up fruit out of the fruit bowl and tossing it, getting score on the HUD each time he hits his roommate with the fruit.
You're nuts, dude! God!
And the roommate takes off. Touching is good.
Video games.
Good comedy right there. Just, fusing, like, you got this, like, game looking HUD, and it's like you got score running, and it shows the hand, and that when it switches to that, just kind of floating there and doing different things with objects. Then it switches back to the real life view and what's actually going on. But it's like, you're stepping into the game and seeing through that visor, that lens of how life is like a video game. It was pretty fun commercial, especially for that time. The production value was really good.
Well, you had it, if you guys go watch this commercial, the guy is like, it's like a digital mannequin hand, but Ryan had a real physical mannequin hand that he got at a promotional event.
Yep.
It looks exactly the same, and I mean, I'm sure you still have it, right?
Oh, I do. It's missing a finger, and it's got like a chunk missing out of the thumb, but I still have it.
Oh no! How the heck did that happen?
Senior year of high school, we used it as a football a lot. So.
Oh, geez, Louise. Yeah, that was, I was teenage years, and it was like a kind of like like, let's be weird and creepy kind of thing. Like, ooh, touching is good, touch you, like, it's great. But yeah, that's definitely an era I'll never forget.
Nintendo and the weird.
You are witnessing a new technology. The first and only game powered by the Super FX microchip.
Danger, 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 danger.
Why go to the next level when you can go light years beyond? You are Foxy Cloud in Star Fox, only for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Well, there you have it. No secret there. That's Star Fox, the original Star Fox game. It starts off with zoomed in on an eyeball, and again, the Nintendo weird, and to grab your attention, like, this is interesting. And then it just starts showing gameplay, and they tell you what it is. It's Star Fox, and at the time, I guess the Super FX chip was this was the first game with it, and it was putting 3D graphics to basically a 2D graphics system, which was just groundbreaking. This was pre-64 days at the time, but to everyone else, like, you've never seen anything like that. And it just, you think you're looking at a human because it keeps showing somebody in this like space, kind of like a space aircraft helmets, and then it opens it up, and then it reveals that you're a fox. It's a fox in the helmet, which was cool. I mean, it really kind of shows what this game is about. This is about a fox guy named Fox McCloud, and you're going to be flying the ship with him. Again, I don't know if I really remember seeing this one online or on TV.
Yeah, I definitely did.
I mean, let's be real. I'm sure it popped up. We watched cartoons enough. I'm sure it popped up, but we were so young at that point. Star Fox came out in like 1994, I think. So, I mean, I would have been younger than my son at that point right now. So, don't necessarily remember it, but I thought it was a fun, unique commercial to play.
Yeah.
But, all right. Any comments on that one, Ryan?
Nah, man. It's pretty straightforward. No, I loved seeing that fox in the spacesuit. It's kind of cool, like, just see different versions of Fox. We see like a realistic Fox. We've seen puppet Fox, we've seen different versions of that. I think that they give so much to the advertising of Star Fox, but they never really push the series to new heights. They keep revisiting the same old stuff. Dinosaur Planet aside, but it's like, they've always been kind of stuck in a rut there and trying to do different things, but it's always kind of the same storyline in a lot of ways. So I'm hoping that they take that and innovate on it here in the near future.
Amen.
Okay. My next one is also in the DS era. It's kind of like that touching is good as well. But this is more of a friendship between a finger and his Kirby friend. So let's get going.
You say good morning, I say good night. Such a wonderful day when the sunlight came.
Now you can use your finger to keep Kirby on the right path and out of trouble. Kirby Canvas Curse for Nintendo DS. Rated E for everyone.
Good old Kirby Canvas Curse. Loved that game so much. And, it's a fun little commercial with, like, people in in mascot costumes. One's a giant finger and one's Kirby, and they're just kind of like, getting through life together. And the finger helps Kirby keep on the right path, keep on the rainbow path, and it's a fun little weird commercial. But they've got the finger pushing Kirby on the swing set, and it's just so silly.
Fun. I definitely remember this commercial, 100%. Fun fact: this is the second GameCube DS game I ever owned. I got this game because of this commercial, and it's so funny because like today, I would have no interest.
Mm-hmm.
I would have not because it's Kirby, but because of the gimmick. Let's draw on the screen, guide into this little ball around and play through. Like I would just like. That's the kind of stuff that turns me off today. I just want a game. I want to play a game with a controller. And but back then, that's exactly why I bought it. I was all in on the uniqueness. Look at this. We're touching and we're moving. This is insane. Like that's what I loved, Like I loved that unique gameplay. And that's what I think that whole era, maybe it's because I was a young teen and I was more experimental back then. That's what I always loved to sell about Nintendo. Like you could, like I remember showing to my mom, when the Donkey Kong bongos came out, and like, look, I can control the game with these bongos, and like this is fascinating. And I loved all the unique stuff like that. And I totally got this game because of this commercial. I absolutely did, and Nintendo Power advertisement stuff too. And for that time, that's cool. It is cool.
Yeah, it has a special place in my heart. I never did get plugged into the later version, the sequel, but still, I absolutely loved that game, and it was very, very reminiscent of Kirby's Tilt and Tumble. It's kind of that idea, just a new way of controlling Kirby in a different way. It's why I always like that was the Kirby's Dream Course, the golf version of Kirby. Like it's not traditional Kirby play. It's a new way of making a puffball roll around and do different things. I always enjoyed those types of games that took Kirby in different directions from his normal like inhale and become that power. Not to say that I don't like the Kirby formula, but Kirby's gotten a lot more diversity, let's say, than Star Fox has for sure as far as gameplay goes.
100%.
All right, this next one you brought to the table. Let's get into it. Let's get into the groove.
Hey, nice try.
Dance off.
You can get the moves to school the Goombas with Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Bring it. Rated everyone.
So fun. That was a Dance Revolution, a gem. I mean, probably a deep cut gem that many people probably had never even knew existed. I don't even know if it sold well. I don't think it did. But it was Dance Revolution, which at the time was just that was the thing. If you youngins out there, if you don't know, Dance Revolution was just like you played it. Like I never did because I sucked, and I had this game and I still sucked at it, but. Because it was Mario, I got it. But it was at all the arcades. People did it. Ryan had his dance pad for his PS2, and Ryan was good at it. He did get good exercise and stuff, and I sucked at it. I mean, to be fair, I don't think I ever really gave it a fair chance of getting good at it. But they made a Mario version of it, and I had to get it. And I remember playing a good bit of it. I never beat it at all, but whatever it is. I thought it was that was a very short commercial, 15 seconds.
You were definitely a cheese ball back then, so
definitely didn't like to move around as much.
I was like heavy into the DDR stuff, and I wasn't really challenged by the Dance Revolution Mario mix. But I definitely enjoyed it just because, like, my friends could get into it who enjoyed Nintendo,
Right.
That was really cool. And the games, the music tracks that they had was very lackluster. They didn't use a lot of the DDR tracks, and the tracks they did use were very, what's the word? Free. It
was more like Nintendo remixes and stuff.
Yeah, and you had, like, it's a Donkey Konga thing where they have, like, those public domain songs and stuff you could play, like,
right.
So it wasn't necessarily a great list of tracks you could unlock, but it was still the DDR experience in a Nintendo world with the Nintendo Spin too. You kind of had like an adventure type mode, and that was really cool to see them do something more with that. Though I don't think it was like delivered on as best as it could have been. I think it was still it's still a good piece of our nostalgia.
For sure, absolutely. All right, Ryan, take it away for your next one. Continue the theme.
All right. Speaking of Nintendo being really weird, let's get into a lovely Wario themed commercial.
Touch and play over 180 quick-fire micro games. WarioWare Touched for Nintendo DS. Rated E for everyone.
WarioWare Touched. So this is classic. Touching is good feeling. Where like this guy's brushing his teeth and his toothbrush starts to go all over his face, and he's like, "What the heck's going on? Like, what's it?" And then like his nose is like trying, or his finger is like trying to shove itself up his nose, and like he can't control his hand. And it cuts to like the kid across the way from this dude in the bathroom, like getting ready for the day, like drawing on his window and making the guy do different things, and at one point he's like hitting himself in the head whenever he taps the window. The kid across the way taps the window and just tries to like just unroll the toilet paper roll, and it just kind of shows like all the weird things that you can do and you can control with a video game with these micro games. And this was like, I think, the height of the WarioWare games with all the different like weird modes and things. Like you got a broken calculator that had certain like keys that didn't work at all, and like these weird little tools like one note like harmonica or something like that. It's just weird Nintendo, weird Wario, like WarioWare. It was really cool to see this commercial, like, and I definitely saw this one more than a couple times. And it was definitely something like I was sold on when I knew that it was coming out before, because I absolutely loved the Mega Micro games that came out on the Game Boy Advance before it. So, do you remember this commercial, Jacob?
Yeah, vaguely I do. I mean, and especially on the DS. I remember you getting this game. You loved all those games.
Oh, yeah.
It's very unique and very funny. And Wario's the weird guy. I mean, he is the weird Nintendo character to do stuff like this with, and the marketing was appropriate and perfect. So, again, I never had this game, but I did play it through you, and I definitely remember this commercial. But I guess that leads us to, we got one more commercial left. And guys, there's so many fun commercials. Trust me, like it's not easy to pick these. Like I've came across so many other ones. That's why, we definitely need to do another commercial episode before the end of the year. I think it'd be fun to maybe in the fall or something.
I'm down.
Who knows? But that would be cool, fall or winter, and I would love that. So, but here's the final one of the day. Okay, so you guys saw that or heard that. That was Donkey Konga, a USA commercial. It starts off with all these people playing. They're playing. Well, they're just kind of walking around. These main characters of this commercial are walking around. I think they're walking to their destination, and while they do it, you just see hammers and objects and things happening within rhythm as they're walking, and you start to hear the conga drums come in, and then they're all sitting down and they're playing bongos together. The GameCube bongos that plugged into your GameCube, all 4 of them, and they're playing Donkey Konga, which was, again, I mentioned the last time I had a commercial, like, just the uniqueness of the game. That whole era started in the GameCube, Game Boy Advance era, moved over to the DS and the Wii era, and it was just all experimental stuff, and it was fascinating at the time. I watched that today, and I'm like, do I think it would be fun? I think it would be fun sometimes. I don't want a whole video game about it. It's kind of like the Dance Dance Revolution. Very similar. It was kind of like their own take. This was their own take on, like, Rockstar, Rock Band, Garage. What was Guitar Hero? That's what it was. Guitar Hero was really popular at the time and was not coming to Nintendo systems. And so Nintendo, let's do our own weird thing and use Donkey Kong. And the first one was just like not good music. I mean, it was just like kiddie songs and some Mario Nintendo remixes. And then the second one, they started to get some licensed music, which definitely sold me on getting the second one. Because they had like Blink-182, just had bands, Story of the Year songs that I listened to. But the down part was you saw it in there and then like you got it and it was just some cheaped recorded low quality version of the song. It wasn't even the real bands. It wasn't Blink-182's actual song. It was, they hired someone to make some cheap re-recorded cover of it, basically. And you bongoed to that, which is just stupid. And to be fair, to be honest, I said that I would brag about this to my mom. Look how unique this is, and use that as my selling point. And I watched that as a parent of 4 kids now, and I'm like, that would be the main reason why I would not buy you these loud bongos so you all could bang them and clap your hands and be freaking loud. So I don't know. I guess I was working against myself. It was just me gaming back then, but I know all my kids, they're just at that age, man. I don't know. They're at that crazy little kid age. And our house isn't huge, so it's not like they can go bongo in the basement where I can't hear them. That's different too. But
just wait till they get a drum set.
Oh, for the love, Jack does ask for a drum set sometimes. So who knows? Maybe he'll be my rockin' drummer dude. But no, this whole era. I mean, I think the majority of our commercials were pretty unique and came from a unique time frame. Do you remember this commercial?
Yeah, I do. Again, they took some liberties here to hype up this game. And have that, like, the rock band, like, pick up their jam session at the very end after playing Donkey Konga.
Oh, like, yeah. How cheesy can you get there?
Okay, like...
Yeah, let's go rock!
Definitely some stretching marketing there, get people hooked on it, so, yeah.
Maybe that was them trying to make that correlation to, like, Guitar Hero and stuff. Who knows? But that was pretty silly at the end there. But well, that does bring the end of this episode, Ryan. This was fun. I enjoyed it. Again, we'll do it again later on the year. It's hard. There's a lot of fun commercials out there that Nintendo has done over the years, and lots to talk about. So, and this isn't even our first one. We've done episodes in the past. So. But Ryan, would you like to just remind everybody real quick where they can find us, and then we will wrap this one up?
Sure thing, man. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora Podcasts. You can also find us on Facebook at Nintendo NOS, on our TikTok at Nintendo_NOS, on X Twitter at Nintendo_NOS, Instagram at Nintendo NOSIN. You can shoot us an email at NintendoNostalgiaIN@gmail.com. You can also give us a call on our Nostalgia hotline. Share your memories and show us some love at 317-969-5690. Guys, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and we will catch you next week. Later, Preston.
See you later.